What's going on, everybody? Matt here from Bogey Proof, coming to you live with another Gambling Lab segment. A little short staff tonight. Prev is at the Yankees game, watching, suffering and watching them play.
Do we have a live player
Um,
on that?
so I think they're actually winning. Gio hit a home run, so I think they're doing all right. But we got myself, Paul, TJ here to recap a pretty exciting week at Travelers. We had a legendary finish with an 8-hole playoff, like the longest one since like 1940 something.
Legendary.
Um,
Literally
and
legendary.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, the week itself provided a pretty strong leaderboard. We expected the guys that were there to be there outside of, I mean, nobody had Kramer Hickok this week, but
No.
the guy was electric out there. Loved what I
Kramer.
thought of him. He's definitely on my radar going forward.
He's kind of been making a climb, hasn't he,
Yeah.
recently? Like I've been
Yeah.
seeing his name slowly more and more and more. Okay.
And the way he did it, I mean, it wasn't like it was fake, Like he made some good birdies to finish that round and get into the playoff. And outside of that one really ridiculous two-putt he made on 18 where he blasted it like 20 feet by and then made it coming back, like he played all the holes like super solid. So no, it didn't seem like a bells and whistles thing. It seems like he's actually really found some sort of form. And, I keep an eye out on him going forward in some of the, lesser field events or off-field events with the Open coming up, something like that. Think he'd be a good guy to keep an eye on and, maybe ride the hot hand a little bit. But back to the Travelers. I mean, Harris English ends up getting it done. Seems to have found some form again. He came out super strong to start the year, won in Hawaii, and then really kind of fell off the earth for a few months. And then the solo third at the U.S. Open last week, followed up with a win this week. Just strikes the shit out of the ball, honestly, and puts it surprisingly well. At least from what I remember of the last few years of watching him play golf. He's got the rock rolling. So it was pretty fun to watch him. And, we had guys, Bubba, Jason Day, Mark Leishman, all these kind of big names that have had success at Travelers in the past and overall on tour in the last 5 years have been, they're veteran guys with a ton of wins under their belt. So it was a solid, I'd say turnout performance-wise, leaderboard-wise, whatever you want to call it, from the Travelers, and led to a lot of highlights. Even Brooks actually with a strong Sunday climbed back up inside the top 10. So overall, super exciting week. I don't know if you guys had any overall thoughts before we dive into some more of the playoff and some other more specific things.
Yeah, I think I was more of a storyline guy. Watching Jason Day one, I thought that was pretty interesting to see. The day one was day two was really good. Got himself into the mix. I thought that was cool. Followed Guido. We got to see Guido on the tee while we were there on Saturday. That was probably one of my highlights. We had an Italian guy standing next to us, literally talking to him in Italian. It was awesome. Paisan. It was just overall great. Just being there, it was fantastic. Our experiences were tremendous. Fontaine and I were there Saturday. It was pretty toasty out. A lot of drinks went down, but it was great. Fans really made it everything there, and these players felt off it. I really think that we saw a lot of guys towards the end, like Kramer. That was great to just see that raw emotion. But they're going back and forth. I thought that was really cool. They were making some pretty tough putts. I mean, especially in that timing. I thought that was really, really cool. Great for the game of golf. A lot of buzz around it. It was one of those things where all of it was over, and you literally got to the end there, and it was just 1 hour, 2 hour, 2.5 hours of just constant, what's going to happen here? And that was something where I think like everybody wanted to like go do their normal Sunday things, but we're just drawn into watching more and more. Like, when is this going to be over? Like, this is just taking forever. And it was really cool. It was great. I mean, let's talk about Harris English's up and down from that bunker lie. I mean, that was quite impressive. Holy crap.
The full gap wedge out of a fairway bunker and to, get the number perfect is pretty impressive.
Peacock lipped out on that one too, I believe. Like,
yeah.
Literally, you were going to have to get up and down, and unreal.
It was a little interesting on the playoff how on 18, I think each of them hit the fairway like once in the 6 times they played the hole. It's kind of crazy. They just kept blasting it in that left fairway bunker and taking the right hill completely out of play, because the left fairway bunker you can still, make a par, no doubt. But it was kind of interesting to see these guys that both birdied it to force the playoff and, be in the playoff. Not even really, sniff a birdie. Besides, Harris missed a short one and Kramer lipped out on a long one, but it hit the hole. It was kind of interesting to see them kind of like, kind of whiff it around down that hole and just kind of grind out pars the whole time in the playoff. But to be expected. Long week, hot week, humid weekend, and probably a little tired and just trying to be like, oh my God, somebody please make a mistake here. I'm just trying to make my par and, not shoot myself out of it. But in line with the playoff talk, I don't know exactly how. I'm not like a PGA Tour rules guy, like guru. I don't know who decides that layout, if it's the PGA Tour or like the course itself has their, local rule, whatever you call it, of like the order of holes in sudden death playoffs and how all that works. I don't know how that works. Obviously, being sudden death, it's, one hole at a time, but I would think after like, 3 holes that maybe you got to switch it up with the order you're doing. Cause like, and, we talked about it a ton on our course preview as well as the DFS last week, but overall it's a short course, par 4s, and like makes a lot of birdies. The last 2 holes are like the only exception to that rule where 17 is not long, but they don't hit driver off the tee because of how tight that tee shot is. And that with the wind blowing the way it was that day and the water short, the pin up in the back, like all they were going to do is hit, make sure they don't like avoid the water, hit it, a 3-iron hybrid in the fairway, hit their 9-iron, 8-iron, even maybe wedge if they chase one down there to the middle of the green and then just make par. And then the same with 18. They put the 2 hardest par 4s in the playoff, which basically made these guys just play not to make a bogey versus if you put them on a hole like 15, which they literally drove past to get to 17 tee every time they went there, you're going to get an answer in your playoff, right? You're going to get you're going to at least get matching birdies to make it a little more exciting than the 2-putt pars from 20 feet that we saw for 6 of the 8 holes. Like, again, it's not like it was a bad thing. I love watching like sudden death golf. Yeah. Like to see the same hole 6 times out of 8 playoff holes is a little frustrating. And like with 15, you're either going to get matching birdies or you're going to like, it's just so much more of a better sudden death hole because whoever goes first, if they hit a good one to that front edge, like we saw all day Saturday that people were doing, that next guy is like, holy fuck, I just need to make sure it's in the fairway. Like, I can't go in that water. Like, I don't want to be in the bunker on the right. Like, that's a super awkward bunker shot. Like, all those different things are now in play off the tee, where, as we saw in 18, all they did was aim at the left bunker and try and cut it. If I didn't cut it, who cares? I'll hit it out of that left bunker and make a par, because that's all they did the whole time until Harris finally birdied it on his 6th try and 7th of the day. Like, the 15th just – it's so much more volatile where you might get somebody hit in the water. You might get, which they can still make a par from. And like, you're going to have people making birdie if they play that 3 or 4 times. Like, it just would have maybe given a quicker answer or at least made it more interesting to watch rather than just seeing a bunch of pars. Again, sudden death golf is awesome no matter what. But like, it was just so convenient to do that. Like, I can't believe after, I'm not saying go right there right away. Like, I think 18 is a good hole to do it on because you have to play it really well to make a birdie. But after playing it 4 times and they were just making pars, like, all right, let's mix it up here. Like, I don't know who sets the rules for that stuff. Maybe I'm just being naive and there's a rule that, like, once they set the, playoff hole order, they can't, circumvent and just go out of the whim and do whatever. But, like, they drove by the tee box to get to 17 tee box. Like, one of the times, just mix it up and play that one. Like, you would have at least made them hit different shots. They just played they did the same thing for 2.5 hours or whatever. It's like, all right, let's mix it up here for the viewer's sake, for their sake too. Like, at least let us see matching birdies or bring the water into play that you have on those last few holes. Like, I don't know. I think especially with 16 too, like it's just such a good little stretch. Like after go down 18 once or twice, and then be like, all right, let's just mix it up. We got all these different holes that are all right there. I don't know. That was my only.
What I think is, I think there should be a 3-hole playoff. I think in all scenarios, right? Or if you have issues with daylight, right? Like we were fortunate where this ended around 5. They had good tee times early enough. I think 150 was the last time of the day. Got done by like 5:30. So you had enough time to go 2.5 hours after. So that's not always the case. But if we had daylight, right, you got to go 1 hole. If it's 1 hole, I'm choosing 17 because 17 being at that tournament is so cool to even have the fans be there. I think that'd be awesome. But ideally, with what they had yesterday, especially at Travelers, that should be 15, 16, and 17, 3-hole aggregate. Go around that gauntlet because think about it. Fontaine, when we were there, it was absolutely electric to watch as a fan there.
Yeah, that little
and I think with the camera, the quality of the shots that you're going to get, especially with 17, 16 over the water, 15, the water on the left, the big green, the long fairway, being able to drive it, it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting exciting talking about it. It was exciting being there. Make that playoff.
Yeah.
That's what would really add to the element of the Travelers, right? I'm not sure who, like you said, who has the rights of making those decisions, but revisit it. It's got to be the course, or it's got to be the tournament in general. Get some of those
director, some shit.
Yeah, change that, because like you have an opportunity to make that really cool, and you can have an unreal scene. And that was 10,000 people there yesterday. It normally seats 30,000, so you triple that. That atmosphere is going to be electric, and you keep everybody right there. It's built for it. I mean, granted, 18 is great, right? You have that green. I don't think it's a bad hole to do it on, and the bowl is fantastic. It's just that would be even better if it was at 15 through 17. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think the PGA Tour, I believe every PGA Tour event except for the Players, not including the majors, of course, except for the Players, is a sudden death playoff. And I believe they have to say which holes they're playing to at like the beginning of the season. But I don't know why they can't just make that up on the fly, saying like, oh, we're just going to play 18 and then 17, 18, 17, 18. They're like, the Masters is sudden death, but they go between 18 and 10 until there's a winner. The U.S. Open, I think, just went to a 2-hole aggregate like 2 years ago. Yeah. And then I know the PGA and the British Open are 3-hole aggregates.
Yeah. And like 18 and 17, I'm not saying are bad holes to do a playoff on. I think they are ones where you don't just get an auto birdie on one good shot. It makes you 2 really good ones to make a birdie and, decide it. But after the 4th time, like, let's mix it up. That's kind of go 18, 17, 18. And then if you get to that 4th playoff hole, throw 15 at them. They don't need to play 18 again. Like that.
The reason last night that hole 18 should have been played 6 times and hole 17 was played twice.
Right, exactly.
Were you guys there on Sunday, or was it only Saturday?
No, just Saturday.
So I was just curious of what it was like on Sunday if you were actually there. I'm just curious of like, so the fans know 18th hole playoff, and then all of a sudden you flip it to, okay, now we got to walk back to 15. How far away is 15?
Oh, they weren't walking; they were running back.
Yeah, but you could get to you can get to 15 green just as fast as you get to 17 green. They're right next to each other.
Well, either hole. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to play like a little devil's advocate here. If I wonder how much of it is try and keep that atmosphere around the 18th green, because it is a cool finishing hole with that almost like built-in stage amphitheater type effect with all the hills around the green. And
it's loud too.
Like natural like bleachers. Yeah, I'm sure the acoustics are incredible just because of the hills and how loud it can get and everything like that. Yeah.
But, that's a good point too. I guess probably initially that's their thoughts, right? Because 17 also has, a huge hillside that they put the fans on and whatnot. But 15 and 17, I mean, we were in that little corner all day on Saturday, and we were watching both greens at the same time, essentially. So, and you can fill up the whole for the hitters, the right side of the fairway on 15 is all car path that they put people on. So they definitely could have. I guess just and especially just after you did it, you've already played 4 holes, and one of them being played 2 or 3 times. It's like, all right, let's at least they play at them, make them hit a different shot.
Do they go 18, 18, 17, 18?
I think so.
17, 18, 18, 18 to finish it. Yeah, you're right.
Then they just kept on running back 18.
Yeah.
17.
They did 17 twice and then ran 18 back 3 times.
I did look it up, and so the Travelers, some tournaments have like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes mapped out for their playoff.
Travelers they had it mapped,
and their order was 18, 18, 17, 18 that they at least the article that I looked at.
So then it's just like they just keep running back 8.
Then I'm sure they were just like, okay, we only planned for 4. It's the first 8-hole playoff in 60 fucking years. Like we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, and I guess
What if we
that's
did
the
this?
other point too. Like, how often is this actually going to happen?
Yeah,
But
it's not gonna
at
happen.
the
Yeah.
same time, in general, it just exposes a rule. Like
1949 or something. Like that.
after 3 or 4 playoff holes, if it's non-major, obviously, like we said, like for all these other ones, like just let them go off some feel. Like
We could have a putt off.
yeah,
Just someone go out there, drop a ball. Someone for the crowd. Hey, you get to drop a tee here. This is where the boys are putting from for this playoff.
literally.
If you really want to add an element to the final hole, the sudden death, why don't you flip a coin and let somebody determine what hole you got to go to, right? So like Paul, me and you, we flip a
Oh my
coin literally
gosh.
and we go to okay, Paul, I'm going 15, right? We tie the hole. You now it goes to you. You flip it. You go 17, right? Like how cool would that be? Bring like a little player like strategy development into it. That'd be fucking awesome.
You make your own hole. Okay, so we're gonna tee off one, but we have to
No,
pin
no,
four
you gotta
green.
use the curl.
Well, that used to be the best when I worked at a golf course, and like I'd close up and it's like twilight. You got like half hour, 45 minutes of like enough daylight left to go play, and be walking down the course myself. I'd do that exact thing because you don't have time to play a substantial amount of holes. So I'd make up 2 holes. I'd go
Yeah.
from like 1 to the 10th green, and then tee off on like the 17th hole and go up to the second green or some shit. It was the most fun ever. I love that. Because there's like no fairways or anything. You got to go around trees, and it makes it actually like hard.
Yeah. I think we did that a few times at Vets. What was it like?
Yes. Yeah.
7 and 8. You just extend 7 all the way to
Yeah.
8 green. Just make
Or
a
go 1
bear
to
of a
8,
par
go
5.
across. Yeah, go across it. Yeah.
Create
Yeah.
a par 6.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
extend it. Par 3,
Yeah,
par 4, back to back.
But yeah, I don't like. I mean, the 8-hole playoff, like obviously, is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, can we
There's a
talk
little
about
low.
Harris English celebration there on 18 in
No, we don't need to
regulation
talk
there?
about that at all. That was
We're
so
just
The
bad.
not
one in regulation was
like
a little cringe, if we're being honest. Like I love the walk after, but stick to that. You can't combine all your celebrations into one.
yeah.
Chase after it, run it into
I-
the hole. Do like a little like up top fist pump or something like that. Like run it in one of those. But the side
Like a
swipey
Mezzo's
one,
fist bump.
I,
the side swipey one just didn't look right as he was running at the hole.
but
It
that
was so close
celebration
to being
just
so
fits
cool.
a guy so well who's named Harris English. Like
Yeah.
if you like, it's just so perfect.
Sounds like
that
a guy
Yeah,
who's
his
not gonna
name's
be
not
able to get
Rico
out.
Suave. It's Harris. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you think of a
Oh.
guy that's gonna have a shitty celebration, you think Harris English, and he delivered. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah. Hit the nail on the head with
Oh,
that.
man.
Like, oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Any other players stick out to you, Fontaine, while we're there? Anything that was really cool to see?
I mean, obviously, my first time seeing Bryson in person.
Yeah.
And my goodness,
Just have some beefcake.
he's actually size-wise, he doesn't look as big as he does on TV.
Doesn't Brooks look bigger?
Brooks looks a little thicker these days.
Brooks looks thicker, yeah.
Bryson's definitely he looks strong, but he doesn't look like absolutely jacked up like he did
Well,
when he first came out with this stuff.
Kepka's
But like
also
just
stepping
hearing the
knees, so
ball,
he hasn't been able to move as much.
right, exactly. And it's with Bryson though, like he doesn't like when he first came out last year, it looked like he got stung by a million bees. He didn't look that like he looks strong, but he doesn't look as like poofy anymore. He might have cut back on some of the protein shakes. But hearing and seeing him hit a driver up close, the sound of the drivers that he hits and like just seeing it explode off the club, like it just goes so fast off the club face. It's just out there, like so much quicker. Like
It's just stupid.
it really is just unbelievable. And like I watched him warm up on Saturday too. He honestly, I don't even know if he hit drivers on the range that day because I was watching him until like 11:20 something, and his tee time was 11:35, and he was still hitting irons. So I was like, all right, well I got to get over there so I can see him tee off. But like, it just even the irons, it's just like again the irons too in person is so weird because you don't know what he's hitting. Like normally you watch a guy hit range balls, you see him get a little further and further away
all
from
the
the
same
ball.
length.
Yeah, the same length thing makes it really weird watching him hit range balls. But again, the ball just explodes off the club, and it's really, really it's just different than everybody else. It sounds clunky, like it doesn't sound pure when he hits it, just never really does. But like the ball just explodes. It's really, really, really cool to watch in person. That was like the thing that stuck out to me.
How deep is the range at River Highlands?
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. So maybe he just doesn't hit drivers if he doesn't see a net anymore.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine it was actually reachable. I'd have to I'd have to do some research on that and see how long that range
'Cause
is.
I think he's been told or was asked to in other tournaments that he shouldn't use driver at certain ranges, or at least tournaments had to put in like extended nets and spent like a shit ton of money to extend nets way higher than they actually were. I don't know, it was like Riviera maybe. I forget which
Yeah,
tournament had to do it,
yeah,
but I heard a story where they sent like thousands of dollars to put these like one-time use nets up just for Bryson.
right.
It's like,
Well, no,
what are you doing?
it was RBC and then he withdrew.
Was
It
that
was
it?
somewhere and then he withdrew and then they were like, "What the fuck, dude? We just spent like $5,000 putting up fucking like new nets for you, and then and then you just didn't play in the tournament. Like, what the
Technical
shit?"
difficulties.
But yeah,
Pray for the
I don't know. I
supers.
think other than that, I mean, player wise at the Travelers, it was really cool seeing Cam Smith in person. The hair is just ridiculous. Like as a
Oh, the little
serious
mullet he's got cooking,
yeah.
right?
That hair
It
was
was
nuts.
serious. Yeah, it is serious. Um, yeah, other than that, I mean, nobody really stuck out performance wise. I mean, Brooks actually, not that it's surprising, but he didn't get off to a good start and he actually, battled back a little bit and finished in the top 10. I expected him. He was a couple over through the first few holes on Thursday. I was like, all right, we ain't seeing Brooks on Saturday. I was like, he's getting on a plane and heading home. But I don't know. Anything else stand out to you guys? I thought it was overall awesome. Obviously, it helps being there. It's just electric when you're on those grounds. And the playoff was also super fun to watch. I would have
So
loved to see a different hole at some point during it, but other than that, I can't complain.
yeah, I got one more thing. It was so shocking to see when Bryson teed off on 18. Everybody gathered, right? Everybody followed Bryson. But once he teed off, Patrick Cantley came up on 17, finished 17, walked up to 18, was ready to tee off, and there was not many people there.
Yeah.
And I felt like people don't realize how good Patrick Cantley is, and the fact that he's not getting that respect where he should get some more crowds. I was shocked. I thought there would be a lot more people that were interested. It's number one in the FedEx Cup. I mean, it was crazy, but
I think we just lost Fontaine there for a second again.
yeah.
Absolute like probably top 10 player in the world. Maybe I might be a little aggressive, but I feel like it's not. Like,
Yeah.
how does he not have and maybe not a Bryson or Brooks crowd just due to their extracurriculars, but like a good one. Like it definitely fell short of what I would have expected.
I think the thing with Harris English winning this tournament the most that annoys me is he's number 8 now in the Ryder Cup standings, so he's going to be on the American Ryder Cup team right now.
Oh, who dropped out of it?
I haven't looked.
Oh God, that's funny.
I think that's the thing that like pisses me off the most about him winning. Like I was rooting for Kramer so much just to take those Ryder Cup points away from him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, no, it's the top 6 that get in.
But then it's 4 picks.
But so Harris jumped Webb, Berger, Spieth, Finau, Cantlay. Those are the guys that he jumped winning this week in the Ryder Cup standings.
I mean, Webb's out. He's trash. Jordan's going to be in.
Yeah.
Cantlay, I feel like, is a lock unless he does something horrendous the next 2 months. Yeah, we're gonna have to do, because Ryder Cup's mid-September, right? Late September. Maybe during John Deere week, because that tournament's trash, we just do a Ryder Cup preview and like where we're at with like a month to go or something like that.
That's gonna be cool.
We might have to do a deep dive on, just put the list in front of us. Here's the auto wins. Here's who's currently out, and like just go down the list of 6 guys and pros, cons. Think about the golf course, stuff like that. That, listeners, be on the lookout. That's going to come. I don't know. We'll probably do a John Deere week because that golf tournament's irrelevant. But
Slap around Johnson.
I mean, terrible. But
PGA Tour socials that entire week are just massive green tractors. Like that's how important this golf tournament is.
Oh yeah, that and they just show Jordan's bunker holdout from like 2013 when he was 21 years old. It was his first win. That's all you're gonna see.
That's the only reason why he's playing in this event. He never defended his title.
No, he's like
Never.
I got my tour card now. I don't need to play here.
Screw it.
Well, the Masters the next year. Screw this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm above the John Deere. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And I don't know, you guys have anything else Travelers related? We'll probably keep it pretty short. And DFS and course preview for Rocket Mortgage to be coming, later in the week for the July 4th weekend that's upcoming. A lot of big cocktail week. Keep an eye out on the socials for that. But yeah, I don't know. I had nothing else, Travelers, if you guys are good to go.
Yeah. Only thing I'll add to that, Fontaine, if you guys haven't already, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, especially TikTok. We've been starting up the last few weeks here. Twitter, all the above. Follow us and tune in for more. We got a lot more coming. So
Bogey.proof everywhere.
Bogey.proof.
Love it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.